We've all heard about Steve Jobs. He co-founded one of the most valuable companies in the world and revolutionized the way we use computers, smartphones, and tablets. But not everyone knows that before becoming successful, he had failed many times. In fact, there's an interesting quote by him that goes like this: "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important of all, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. This will steer you to the life you really should be living." So today, we are going to talk about how he turned his failure into world-changing success. Let's get started. No. 1. The first time we meet Steve Jobs, he is already a college dropout. At the age of 24, he left Reed College after just one semester. According to his biographer Walter Isaacson, Steve said that he dropped out because it was too expensive for him. His parents couldn't afford to send him to college and he didn't want to take out loans. So he decided to drop out and try to make it on his own. But actually, there is more to it than that. You see, Jobs had always been a rebel. He didn't like rules or authority very much. When he was in high school, for example, he would often skip classes and hang out in the computer lab instead. After dropping out of college, he became even more radicalized. He adopted an Apple the computer as his personal machine and began experimenting with its operating system. He also joined a group of hackers who shared his interest in breaking into computers and modifying them to do whatever they wanted. This is when Jobs developed his famous whole different way of looking at things. It was during this period that he began to think outside the box and come up with innovative ideas that would change the world. Number 2. In the early 1980s, Jobs met Steve Wozniak, a brilliant engineer who designed and built some of the earliest personal computers. Jobs was immediately impressed by Wozniak's work and saw an opportunity to start a business. Together they founded Apple Computer Inc. in Jobs' garage in 1976. At first, the company was just a hobby for both of them and neither made any money from it. In fact, it wasn't until 1977 that Apple's first product, the Apple I computer, was sold and the company actually turned a profit. However, despite the financial success, Jobs and Wozniak had very different visions for the company's future. While Wozniak was happy tinkering with hardware, Jobs wanted something more, something that would appeal to a broader market. This led to a power struggle within the company and eventually led to Jobs being ousted as CEO in 1985. Despite this setback, though, Jobs refused to give up on his dream of creating user-friendly computers that everyone could enjoy. Instead, he took the skills he had learned at Apple and used them to launch Next Inc., a new computer company that would eventually produce the next computer system. This machine featured a powerful operating system called NextStep, which became known for its innovative user interface and multitasking capabilities. Although Next was never as commercially successful as Apple, the company's technology did attract a lot of attention from other tech companies, including Steve Ballmer, CEO of Microsoft, who was so impressed by NextStep that he purchased a license to use it as the foundation for Windows NT. Number 3. During this time, Jobs was also exploring other areas of technology, including animation and film. In 1986, he founded a small animation studio called Pixar, which would later become one of the most successful animation studios of all time. At Pixar, Jobs produced several critically acclaimed animated films such as Toy Story, Monsters Inc., and Finding Nemo. These films not only grossed billions of dollars at the box office, but also won numerous Academy Awards and Golden Globe nominations. In addition to his work at Pixar, Jobs also served as an advisor to several other technology companies, including Sony and Intel. He played a key role in developing products such as the Sony Ilink camera and the Intel iMac. Throughout these experiences, Jobs continued to hone his skills as a product designer and innovator. He became known for his uncanny ability to anticipate what consumers wanted, even before they knew it themselves. This knack for anticipating trends helped him turn around struggling companies like Sony and Commodore and helped him develop some of the most iconic products ever made. For example, after consulting with Jobs, Sony released the Walkman, which quickly became a cultural phenomenon and changed the way people listened to music. Similarly, Jobs' advice helped Commodore revive their home computer business by focusing on user-friendly design and affordability. With all this experience under his belt, Jobs felt confident enough to go out on his own once again, and in 1996, he founded a web browser company called Next. This move surprised many people since Next was essentially a competitor to Netscape Navigator, which dominated the market at the time. However, Jobs had a clear vision for what he wanted to achieve with his browser. He wanted to create something faster, more intuitive and more visually appealing than anything else on the market. After 3 years of hard work and development, his team was ready to launch their product. But it was too late. During those 3 years, Internet Explorer had been released and had quickly become the dominant browser, making Next launch obsolete. Despite this setback, though, Jobs was undeterred. He knew that he had created something special with Next and was confident that there was still a place for it in the market. Instead of giving up, he decided to pivot and focus on developing software for other companies rather than trying to compete with Microsoft head-on. This decision paid off big time, and Next quickly became one of the most successful software companies in the world. Its flagship product, macOS, was used by everyone from hobbyists to professionals alike and is still being used today in various forms. Number 5. Now let's fast forward a bit to 1997. That year, Apple Computer Inc. offered to buy Next for $429 million and brought Jobs back as CEO. Upon his return, he set about transforming the company's image and product line. He introduced new versions of macOS with improved user interfaces and features, while also expanding the company's reach into new markets. One of his most notable accomplishments during this time was the introduction of iTunes, which revolutionized the way people consume music and helped launch Apple as a major player in the digital media industry. Under his leadership, Apple experienced a resurgence that few had predicted. The company went from being on the brink of bankruptcy to becoming one of the most valuable technology companies in the world. Unfortunately, though, Jobs' tenure at Apple came to an end in 2011 when he resigned due to health problems. But his legacy lives on through the products and services he created, which continue to shape how we use computers, smartphones, and other devices today. So what can we learn from Steve Jobs? Well, first of all, he was a visionary leader who had the courage to pursue his dreams even when others thought they were crazy. He was also a master of marketing and branding who understood how to connect with customers on an emotional level. Finally, he was an innovator who was constantly pushing the boundaries of what was possible. In short, Steve Jobs was a true pioneer whose contributions to technology will never be forgotten. If you enjoyed this video, check out this video next, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.